The following contains imagery of a grown man pissing his life away on pointless video game microtransactions. If you have a weak wallet or a weak constitution, please watch the video recommended below. Otherwise, viewer discretion is advised.
Here we go! Here we go! Is it gonna be her? Is it gonna be her? Is it gonna be her? I'm gonna rage so hard if it's someone else other than her. Unless it's Verena. I'll accept my fate if it's Verena. I don't care about you. Get out of the way. Here we go. Please be Cardathea. Well, it's Verena.
This
Okay.
flower is for you. I hope it makes you happy.
Alright. Just don't ask about that. Credit card debt. For the entirety of my adolescent life, and I'm pretty sure for most of yours as well, we've repeatedly been told that debt is bad. It was to be avoided at all costs. You must only spend what you have. That is really solid advice you should live your life by. All the adults that gave me that advice, though, failed to mention one teeny tiny little thing. In order to do a lot of important and useful things, you need this thing called a credit history. Do you know how you get that credit history? By going into debt. Fortunately for me, I was able to stumble somewhat into building that history by buying a car. A little beat-up, low-mileage Honda Civic that I literally had to negotiate a higher price for because my sweet, dearly departed grandfather kept lowballing himself into oblivion. I love you. I know he was just trying to help me get started in life, but I wasn't going to feel good just sitting there and allowing him to discount the car nearly 50% off Blue Book pricing. Anyway, after never missing a payment on that car for about 3-ish years, was that enough credit history? Well, maybe to get into a student apartment before the dark times, but I still had a low score due to having a thin file, meaning you don't have enough of a credit history. Low scores are kind of an insult to a gamer like myself, you know. High scores are, kind of my thing. Okay, never did I expect that I was going to build my credit by trying to get, something stupid as 3D anime wives in a video game. Now, don't freak out. I'm not selling my future and putting myself into crippling debt because of video game microtransactions. I'm not that dumb. Student loans put me there a long time ago. What game has me in such a chokehold that I am throwing money at the screen for a virtual waifu? Yeah, it's a Gathering Wives. Withering Waves. Forget that. You saw the title of the video, you've seen the B-roll, you knew it was Withering Waves, 5 minutes ago. I don't know why I'm even trying to act like it was a surprise. I have a confession to make. Back when Gacha games first started their meteoric rise in Western gaming circles, I was one of those knobs who scoffed and laughed. Why would anyone in their right mind spend money for a chance to get what amounts to a PNG of their waifu? Don't these sweaty nerds know you can just go online and find the same image and do this fantastic thing called downloading? It's totally asinine compared to me spending my hard-earned cash on Overwatch loot boxes for diva skins. Are you catching my intense sarcasm? It really was the pot calling the kettle black. Hell, I even bought the infamous horse armor back in the day. Sure, in some gacha games, what you are really trying to get amounts to nothing more than a special image or card, but in most of the popular ones, it's playable characters. I had no interest in playing any gacha games until a close friend of mine introduced me to Withering Waves while I was neck-deep in my, embracing the closet weeb within arc, so I decided to give it a shot. Okay, so I'm sensing that some of y'all are probably confused. So let me just back up a little bit. The term gacha originates with the gachapon machine. It is a type of vending machine that is most popular in Japan that vends prizes. Most contain little trinkets and whatnot. You insert your money, you spin the dial, and a random item from the pool listed on the machine pops out. Some items are rarer than others, so you may get something that someone else does not have. Think blind boxes and Labubus, but vended. Anyway, a gacha game involves the same kind of mechanic. In a gacha game, you have banners. Each banner will feature a specific characters, or other things, with some being rarer than others. Through in-game currency that can be found, earned, given away by the developers, or bought, you can purchase what the community has dubbed as pulls. Each pull is one draw on a single banner. Some games are incredibly stingy with in-game currency, and some are incredibly generous, so your mileage may vary from game to game on how many pulls you can do without whipping out your wallet. TLDR, it's the same as every loot box system that was in every game during the late 2010s. I wonder where Western game execs came up with that wonderful monetizable idea. Okay, now that you're all up to speed, let's actually talk about the game itself. When I got started, all I heard about it through the grapevine was that it was some new gacha game that people were hyped for, and one that kind of fell flat on its face upon launch. Honestly, you can kind of see why. The first major arc of the game's story is extremely clunky and kind of feels like it drags on way too long. You get dropped into the middle of everything with no explanation, which, for a game where the main character has no memories of his past, usually could work. But here it results in a lot of tell, don't show moments.
Who was behind this twisted plot?
Why wasn't this animated? You could have shown it to us and had the same effect without fading to black. When the plot does pick up, you're also met with characters you've never met before, and they just kind of act like you know them. And to be clear, this isn't in the, oh, I knew you in your past life and are keeping this a secret way. It's in the, you are missing half the plot way. My suspicion is this has to do with the drastic overhaul the game underwent after closed beta testing. I've seen some images and heard some rumors about how the story was, supposed to go, and honestly, it's probably for the best. But the whole first section suffers immensely due to how much was scrapped. There was also apparently an event quest where you met some of those characters, and that was just Thanos-snapped from the game afterwards and never returned. Most, if not all, the other important story quests from events stay in the game. For example, Chakona's quest from the Renesita storyline. You can play the entire thing from start to finish, but at the time, it just had some limited time rewards for completing all the endings. This other event quest, though, is nowhere to be seen. Anyway, back to the first arc's tell, don't show mentality. That way of storytelling led to some cutscenes that went on for way too long. For example, one night, I decided to get a little bit of the story done before I went to bed for an early morning fishing trip. I got sucked into a cutscene that went on so long the game literally told me to take a break, but if I did, I would have to do that entire cutscene over again or skip it and miss critical plot points. Long cutscenes can be okay and work as long as they're engaging and maybe there's a checkpoint or two. This one was just so much plot-related yapping, and all stuff they could have shown me instead of telling me. If I hadn't had it on good authority that the story was about to drastically improve, I probably wouldn't have stuck with the game. Thankfully, the Mount Firmament arc is such a big improvement and not too long, and then the Black Shores arc right after that, phenomenal. Then Renesita after that was amazing from start to finish. I don't really have any footage from that section of the game because, well, by that point, this script had been in hell for months with a completely different endpoint and a story to tell, so I just continued to play the game and enjoy it on my own. But what I can talk about is the characters. One of the things Withering Waves does incredibly well is their characters. Now, in the same way that the story suffers during the Jinzhou arc, their characters from that time do as well. There aren't many that I found myself investing in, but a few did stand out. Chisha, for example, I liked immediately, right out of the gate. I really enjoyed her personality, and her gameplay loop was fun to play and easy to learn, which actually provided a good base to learn all of the ins and outs of Withering Waves' combat system. Her design is also really distinct, a kind of action hero adventurer vibe with a heavy dash of tomboy best friend baked in, which is, okay, I'm gonna say it. It's cute, okay? It is exactly my type, so sue me. Don't look at me, Diana, now is not the time. Encore's personality and design are really fun. Her companion story literally made me weep manly tears, and this little cinnamon roll needs to be protected at all costs. You hear me? Protect her. Same with Rochia. Shorekeeper, the character at the center of the Black Shores' story, is, and I'm sorry to all the other characters that I personally consider to be best girl, she's the canon wife of Rover. Just because I like other characters more than her doesn't mean that I necessarily ship them with Rover, if you, catch my drift. As far as gameplay goes, I can't speak much to that since I don't have her. There were, other priorities. That being said, she is considered to be the top tier support character, so if there isn't another character in the new beginner banner you'd want more, she's a solid investment. John is a cool dude with a glaive and bends a wind dragon around to kill tacit discords. I mean, he's just awesome. What more can I say? As far as the characters introduced in the Renacida arc, I hate to say it, but they're all phenomenal. Each character's personalities, stories, and designs are all distinct, and if you haven't found a character to latch onto during your time in Jinzhou, you will in Renacida. Notable examples include Carlotta, who is currently the queen of best girls in my opinion, is one of the easiest, most free-to-play friendly characters to build out of the box and get an absolute DPS monster out of. I could go on for hours about her personality, her design, and why she stole the top spot from my girl Chisha. Sorry, she stole your spot. Shakona's currently vying with Chisha for the number 2 spot on the Best Girl leaderboard. Her story was really good, and I mean, just look at her design! She's adorable! I know I have a type, I'm trying to deal with it, let's continue. You know, our sweet mother-flipping tsundere had a story that really hit a soft spot for me. Her gameplay is fantastic and distinct, and her design is just impeccable. Cardathea, while not vying for somewhere in the top 3 best girls for me, she's considered to be one of the best DPS characters in the game, especially when paired with the right team. Also, Giant Woman.
All I wanna do is see you turn into a giant woman.
Windstorm! Sweep all the way!
Lupa is... Guys, I swear I'm not a furry, but I am willing to bend the rules for her, okay? Also, you can literally kick a spear at people for long-range damage. She is dope as hell! Zani, more like overworked mommy, am I right? God, I am so alone. There are so many other fantastic characters, and more are being added pretty regularly when new content drops. So if there isn't one that piqued your interest here, there will be one day, I'm sure of it. Let's talk about the gameplay now. Wuthering Waves' combat falls firmly in the camp of simple to learn but incredibly difficult to master. On the surface, you will have only a few basic tools. Basic attack, which can be augmented by a jump to do an aerial attack. Heavy attack. Resonance skill, which you can equate to a character's special ability. Resonance liberation, which is an ultimate attack or ability. The echo skill is an attack a character's echo, which, you can think of it like a Pokemon or a companion or something, will perform. There are more to echoes than just that, but we will cover that in just a minute. Dodge, which has to be timed just right to dodge an enemy attack. Counter-attack, which stuns an enemy a little bit when an attack is timed just right. Stun them enough, or whittle them down with your other attacks, and the enemy becomes immobilized for a bit, which is the perfect time to DPS them. What each of these do and how they fit into your team depends on the character. During combat, you will have a team of up to 3 resonators that you will swap between to your advantage. That is, outside of story missions that force you to use specific trial characters. When you do a swap, you can either do a basic swap at will, or if this thing called the Forte gauge is full, your inbound character will perform an intro skill, and your outgoing character will perform their outro skill, which are special abilities and attacks that provide some overlap during the swap, as well as potentially buffing your teammates or applying debuffs to your enemies. That's where the iceberg begins. Each character can equip weapons with various effects. They have individual skill trees to unlock alongside their level, which caps at 90, and a selection of 5 echoes. Each echo has a certain cost associated with them, and you can equip up to 5 echoes or a total cost of 12 once your data bank reaches sufficient level. Each echo gives different stat bonuses to your resonator, which are somewhat determined by RNG, and collecting a full or partial set of a specific attribute will give other buffs as well. Your echoes all each have their own levels, and the cap increases based on the quality of the echo, which follows the standard rarity scheme. You can essentially think of a character's power being equal to their actual level, the level of their skills, the level and stats of all their individual echoes, and the level and rarity of weapon you have chosen for them to use. And that is all I'm going into, because any deeper and we will be here for several hours. It's best to get in, mess around, and learn in-game. You only really need to care about the nitty-gritty once you start getting into endgame content where those stats and team composition matter a whole lot more. Now is the time for my overall thoughts. This game has fulfilled a very specific niche in my gaming diet. I'm a busy guy right now. I'm coming up on what I hope to be my last year of college, and I work 2 part-time jobs. Sometimes I just need a game that I can pick up and put down easily between work and homework, which Withering Waves has easily allowed me to do. During my week, I can log in, complete my dailies, and mess around for a little bit before hitting the books. Then, once the weekend hits, I can dedicate more time to working on quests or major content drops. Sure, there is an element of FOMO being baked into gacha gaming as a whole. One major way that rears its ugly head is that character and weapon banners are on a limited time rotation. But they're not gone forever. If you miss one, you will get them eventually. Limited time rewards are rarely things I would lose sleep over missing. It's something I learned from my time in Destiny. You don't need every single shiny thing out there, and if you miss something, it just wasn't meant to be. I joked about credit card debt earlier, but if you are someone who struggles with spending and frequently makes massive impulsive purchases that puts themselves into massive binds, maybe this game and gacha in general is something you should admire from afar. I happen to be in a position where I have a little bit of surplus income. Sure, I'd rather spend that money on a date or going out with friends, but I don't have many, if any at all, opportunities to do that in my real life. Plus, most of the people I do hang out with would rather spend a night playing video games, D&D, or watching a TV show most of the time. And there really haven't been a whole lot of games that I want to buy at full price, so spending a little bit on Withering Waves every once in a while isn't that big of a deal. Would I call Withering Waves a predatory gacha game, though? No. Is the stamina system they have kind of stupid and slow rolls character leveling? Sure. I wish they'd just remove it, honestly, but I will admit it helps as a timer so that I don't spend 5 hours grinding materials over and over when I shouldn't. Would I like to do that when I can? Absolutely. If I want to grind out materials and other leveling components, I think I should be able to. Never once, though, have I felt that I have had to spend money just to extend it. But that's just me. If I'm spending money on this game, it's either on character weapon banners or the occasional cosmetic that comes out that I want. All in all, it's a surprisingly solid game that, like all games, has its own unique faults and idiosyncrasies. It's not going to be for everyone, and honestly, I don't know why there's this expectation nowadays that everything has to be for everyone. I think games trying to please everyone is how we got into the current mess that gaming is in right now and why indie games are thriving. But that's a manifesto I lack the expertise or knowledge to write at the current moment. As we wrap this up, let's talk a bit about where I've been for half a year and where I see this whole thing going forward. School. It's been school. This semester kicked my ass and was, well, eventful for the entire student body right out of the gate. And that's all I'll go into about that. And I'm sure that the next semester will kick my ass too. That's just the way it is right now as I start running through the final gauntlet before graduation. I was originally scripting and lightly tying this video in with my first trip to Anime Expo. But it then entered script hell, like I said earlier, and abandoned it for a bit. I do wish I had actually done more with the little Withering Waves pop-up ice cream shop they had, but I was too busy losing all of my money in Artist Alley and the vendor hall, so maybe next year. I have some goals for the coming year for the channel. I'd like to try and get out at least one video a month, unless this thing really takes off. Then priorities and expectations will shift accordingly. I am also toying with the idea of streaming again. If that does happen, it'll happen over on Twitch at Mungo Chungus. Link will be in the description below, and I'll notify everyone via Instagram as well. So find me over there if you want to stay up to date. Anyway, that is it for me. Remember to drink some water, touch some grass, and I'll see you next time. Crow Games. What is up, my guys? If if you feel so inclined as a sponsor your old boy here, I would not be opposed and the slightest. I lost a lot of 50-50s. Especially recently. So, yeah, I'll have my people talk to your people, and you'll get in contact with me. I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's totally gonna happen. Bye.